Hi everyone, welcome to Kats Creations. I'm back and it's Friday, November 19th of the year 2021. Tonight we're going to be doing metallics. Tonight launches the metallic weekend. So all weekend long I'm going to be designing Christmas wreaths around that metallic theme. So tonight we're taking it to gold with the Silent Night Wreath. The sign is a 10-inch round from Personalize It By Pam. We're going to go ahead and get everything going, but before I do, let me just cover a couple things. So if you are watching this and you want to get notified the next time we do live, make sure you click the like and follow button to this page, and then that way if you happen to be on Facebook doing Christmas shopping or anything like that, you'll get notified when we are going live. Also, if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button in the upper right-hand corner. That will let you know whenever we upload a new video to our YouTube channel. And if you feel like participating in the Facebook Lives, join us every Friday at 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern Time. And then also on Sundays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. Eastern. With that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you're new, let us know. We'd like to welcome you, and hopefully you'll make a crafting connection here. Let us know where you're from, and hopefully we can help you get connected with a crafter in your area. So I am starting this off on a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. I am wiring each of the 6 sections exactly the same. So I'm going to do the last section with you, and we're going to take a pipe cleaner. You're going to use the weld marks on either side and find a middle point on your 2 innermost rings. You're going to take your pipe cleaner. You're going to go ahead and put it right in between, just like so. And then you're going to take 2 more pipe cleaners and you're going to wire together the outside 2, using your middle and a weld to kind of find a middle ground here. And then we're also going to do that on the opposite side. What this will give you is a grand total of 18 pipe cleaners, 6 on the inside, 12 on the outside. And as we do this design tonight, I'm going to be removing the inside pipe cleaners because with our sign, our embellishments, and our bows, it's going to lay on top of these. So I'm going to remove them in the process. Now, I am using a metallic gold Deco mesh. So this has got the thin gold metallic foils through this. These are cut to 18-inch pieces. I'm going to ruffle each of these, and they're going in every single one of our pipe cleaners. You just kind of pretend there's a invisible line down the middle and just kind of pull it towards you. I just use the scissors sometimes to keep, this is probably the last part of my Deco mesh before the roll ended. I'm putting the finished edges towards the inside center of my wreath frame, just like this. Try to make sure that you get it pretty even because you don't want too much to the inside or too much to the outside, so you want a good coverage. I'm going to twist it enough times to make sure it doesn't come undone. I'm going to snip this off just at the point where I've twisted it and then push it back down to the center. We're going to do that 17 more times. So at this point, you guys could ask questions about anything that we're doing tonight while I go ahead and do this. My husband Steve will field your questions for you. If you feel that your question is missed, feel free to ask it again, because sometimes Facebook, when you post things in a news feed, it has a tendency sometimes of getting lost in that feed.
Yeah, all we got right now, we're just saying Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Thanks for watching. Welcome along. Hi, gals.
Yeah, hard to believe that next weekend is Thanksgiving already. I can't believe it. The year has really gone by super quick for us this year. I feel. I don't know. Do you guys feel that way? I feel like it was just summer Well, it kind of was just summer, but it's kind of fall now, almost launching into winter. So always make sure you pull your pipe cleaners on the outside to the bottom. That way when you get ready to add your ribbons or embellishments, you already know where your pipe cleaners are.
Hi Claire, she said hi Candice, hope you are both well. I'm watching from the UK, first time live.
Hi Claire. Hey, I have a great tip for you in the UK. If you're looking for a UK supplier, Richens, R-I-C-H-E-N-S, Wreath Supplies, is one of our members who has launched her own wreath supply business there in the UK. So that might benefit you a little bit. Thank you for joining us.
Cynthia says, love that sign. Arlene said, hi, I'm new from west of New Orleans. Hi Arlene.
Hi Arlene, welcome. Yeah, I had a dream about this sign last night and I was like, I think we should probably go with that idea. And I kind of knew roughly what ribbons I had, but I had found the sign a while back and I was like, I think we've pretty much done a wreath theme around every Christmas song that's out there, it seems like. So this one is no exception. And there we go. This mesh I have cut with the wood burning tool because it does not contain any natural fibers. I guarantee you, if you have never cut your Deco mesh with a wood burning tool before, this will be life-changing for you because you will have virtually no frays.
Oh, Claire said, thank you, yes, she's found them. And
Nice.
they are great so far.
Great. I am happy
Thank you
to
all
hear
for
that.
sharing and liking. Feel free
Yeah.
to share this video.
You guys can feel free to share. It's not that secret word that you can't say. Yes, you can share. I found that when I was first starting wreath making, while I was waiting for my supplies to get in after watching people do Deco mesh wreaths for a while, I would just share the video so that by the time I got all my supplies in, it was so much easier for me to find the video so that that tutorial is like right there for me. So I'm hoping that same tip works for you. Can't wait to see what the final product will be like.
Nancy, the Deco mesh is a gold metallic mesh from Craft Outlet.
You guys know I love Craft Outlet Deco mesh because it's thick, it's great quality, it's inexpensive. So, and it just makes a really good base for this. So this is our first of our metallics, so we're doing gold. I'm not sure what day we're doing rose gold. We're gonna do a silver. And then I've got to look and see, we might do a combo one using a couple metallics. It's always fun to theme them.
Hey Jill, she asks, is there an odor when you burn the mesh? Yeah, there's a slight odor.
A slight odor. I would recommend doing it in a place that is vented. So like when I'm doing mine, if I open my front door, my back door, and my back window, it's pretty much a good airflow for me. And I'm only cutting 18 pieces and then I'm done. So you do it pretty quick because it goes really fast. I think we are at the halfway point. Halfway. So we'll get our base in here. It was interesting to try to figure out what color base did I want to lay in here. You know, did I want to do a true gold? Do I want to do something a little bit like brighter? I think they call this, it's like a brown gold because it's a little bit darker. Because I think a gold, well, it just depends how rich the gold is, right? the less gold content, the lighter it is, I think.
Rita, the mesh is all cut to 20 inches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one actually cut to a full 20 inches. I've been finding lately that my Deco mesh isn't making it to that, you know, getting a full 18 pieces of 20-inch mesh. I've been coming up short a lot. So it's kind of disappointing. But that's the reason why I always tell you, if you're going to order your mesh, get 2. That way you're not stuck coming up short a piece.
Nikki said, hi Kat, I'm from the UK as well and have watched a few of your videos and made my first wreath recently. That's awesome.
Oh, thanks for joining us, Nikki. What kind of wreath did you create? Was it like Christmas themed? Like to hear what you guys are making. Busy, busy, busy making Christmas. And then we'll be switching from Christmas into winter. We'll be doing a lot of winter ones that can map over and be used for Christmas, but they're what I call a transitional wreath. You can purchase them for Christmas and keep them up all through all through winter.
Cynthia, I noticed you're cutting out the chenille stems.
Mm-hmm. Just on the inside ones.
Right. Do you not use any of those? Right. Anchor arms, anything else for the wreath? Yeah, just the inside ones.
Yeah, just the inside. Because once you put the sign on, the sign pretty much covers all those 6. Because if you think about it, the exterior part of the frame is 14 inches. The inside is about 10. So that pretty much wipes out all those. It just kind of depends on where you're going to position your sign. But even if you deviate just a touch, you would have to go back in and remove your pipe cleaners anyway. Okay. Just a couple more here.
Cynthia said she's doing Christmas and winter right now.
Ooh. I'm always curious to see what people are using for Christmas/winter. Like Christmas/winter would be just, it could be anything. It could be a barn in the snow. It could be cardinals. It could be poinsettias. It doesn't necessarily have to be a true Christmas. 3 more pieces and we will be complete.
Mickey, you can always post your pic in the public group.
Mm-hmm.
Should be able to.
Yep. I don't have anything that prevents you from posting. I might have to approve it before you post it. But yes, feel free. Or you can email me at KatsCreations777@gmail.com. That's generally where I get a lot of people just posting their photos. Okay.
Hey guys, just joining. Happy Friday. Thanks for sharing your time with us.
Happy Friday. I always love Fridays.
Happy week before Black Friday, too.
Don't remind us. Week before Thanksgiving. Weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be busy next week. Super busy. Short work weeks for a lot of people. Kicks off the start of the holiday shopping season. And don't forget, if you're a wreath maker, don't forget the holiday shipping times increase as of Thanksgiving. So if you want your items in before Christmas, order early because FedEx, UPS, USPS are all going to take a little bit longer because it's their busy time of the year too. Okay, last one in, just like so. And then I will show you. Here is our base. Our base is all complete. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to add the exterior tails to this wreath, which they're all pre-cut, so you don't have to sit and watch me cut. Let me share with you where we're getting these from. We're going to start with our 2.5 inch which is gorgeous ribbon. It's got this little mesh netting with snowflakes. Hobby Lobby for the win. 14-inch pieces of 2.5 inch. 6 of those. And then also, this is, I guess you would call it the names of Jesus. So Hobby Lobby also 2.5 inches cut at 14 inch lengths. And we're going to alternate these all the way around the wreath. So we're just going to fold them in half. You're just going to scrunch up so you have a little bit of a pinch, and that's going to go right inside our pipe cleaner. Give it about 2 twists just to make sure it doesn't come undone. You're going to go ahead and pull that to the outside so it creates a nice little fanned effect. And then we're going to go ahead and do that all the way around the outside. It's just easier sometimes if you keep your pipe cleaners vertical, so these can slide in.
Oh, and a good question. She asked, will we be doing any lives Thanksgiving weekend?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Thanksgiving, no, because we don't generally do that. But yeah, Friday, yes, Black Friday. What else? Saturday, no. Sunday, yes. So, no. Because most of our family comes in and then they leave that Friday. So, they're in a hurry to get back home. So, easy in, easy out. But hopefully, I'll keep you guys entertained in the evening hours. Okay. So we'll go all the way around. You want to make sure that when you're using lettering on your ribbons that goes horizontal, that those go in the right direction so they're not upside down. And this ribbon is kind of a satin ribbon. So it doesn't have an awful lot of weight to it as far as the ribbon thickness. So that's why the snowflake ribbon looks really nice in here. It's very thick.
Hey, Kathy. Actually, it's pinned at the very bottom. It says sign is from Personalize It By Pam on Etsy.
Right, and if you guys are in the private group, remember Pam is one of our vendors you get discounts through. So please make sure you're taking advantage of that discount before you check out on your sign order.
Jane said this is going to be adorable when finished.
I hope so. Yeah. It's kind of one of those, okay, I kind of saw it in my dream, so let's see what it looks like in reality. Let's hope it looks good. And I'm trying to keep my ribbon, like the one that has the mesh in it, the same way. So that's towards the bottom, because it's not right down the middle of the ribbon. So just to kind of keep that all looking the same, that's what I'm choosing to do. And then of course, once this ribbon gets something else placed on top, it should lay more flat. Okay, there's that. So if you guys would love to join my private group, we'd love to have you. It's $17 a month. You get discounts from all the vendors that we have arrangements with, like Personalize It by Pam. You get materials lists for all the public and private lives. You have access to my video library for the last 4 years. And what else? Oh, yeah, you get 2 extra lives every month. In addition to the public ones on Friday and Sunday. We meet every Sunday at 3 Pacific, which would be 5 Central, 6 Eastern, and then also on Mondays at 5. If you can't make it for whatever reason, no worries. It's recorded, so replays are available for you. And you can do that on my website at KatsCreationsNMore.com. I think Stu's gonna pin that for you. You can do monthly or you can do yearly. If you opt for the yearly rate, you pay for 10 months and get 2 months free. Okay, we are just about finished right now with the 2.5s. So now what I'm going to do is something a little different. I've talked about this before. I don't do it very often. We are going to set this one aside. So I have 1.5 inches. This is a Swiss dot, so it's a gold on white. This is from Craft Outlet, cut to 18-inch pieces. And also this solid gold, it's like a lame. And this is from 5th Street Studios. So we're gonna do something called a double bow. So you're going to take your 18-inch piece, you're gonna make your tails line up. You'll go up about 2 inches from the top, meaning here, kind of pinch in. You'll hold that. You'll grab your next piece of ribbon, do the exact same thing, and then you're going to put the 2 looped ends together so that it makes a bow. These are getting placed on top of the snowflake. So those go right in where I've pinched them, right into your pipe cleaner. I'm going to snip my pipe cleaner end off. And then on here, let me show you how this goes. You're going to take your pipe cleaner end back. You're going to flip it back behind your ribbon. Nobody wants to see that. Okay, then you're going to right side one of your bow tails. You're going to open your loop. Open the loop on the other side. And then you need to right side your tail on this side as well. So that, I call it a double bow just because it has a total of 4 tails and 2 different loops. And then that is how we create a double bow. So those are going on all the snowflake ribbon. It's a little hard to do them on every single one. So when I do decide to use them, I usually choose to do that and then maybe something else on the other one. Because they're too full, they would start to impact the other ones. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch them. So like on this side, you have your Swiss dot on the right. Now we're going to have the Swiss dot on the left. And I'm going to alternate those around so that the pattern kind of subtly changes. So it looks a little bit different. In. Okay. And then if you want to put your arcs back in your tails, you just run them through your fingers and then they just have that little curl back in them. So that one. And then this one now is going to go to the right. So toggle then the opposite way. Over. Take that one and flip it. Flip my Deco mesh so it lays nicer. Okay. This one's going to definitely have a lot of metallic ribbon in it. Okay, going to the left. You guys are so quiet. Are you answering questions?
No, not really.
Okay.
I don't really watching.
You guys.
What did she say about the Wreath Club? I had to step away and missed it.
You mean joining the private group?
The private group, right?
Yeah, the private group. You can join that at the website, KatsCreationsNMore.com. You can join monthly or yearly. And
You do have a Wreath of the Month club.
I do have a Wreath of the Month club. You have to email me for that one. That one, I just give you materials list. We just basically make one wreath per month. You order your own equipment or your own supplies, so everything's delivered directly to you. You have it in time. And we usually do that, well, it's open. I just don't really advertise it that much. So it's perfect for people who just want to learn one wreath with like a whole group.
Right. And she co-creates, so she kind of slows it down and waits for people to finish.
Yeah, we go at the pace of the slowest person in our group. Okay, let's do it here. Add it backwards. Couple more, and then we'll be done with the double bows. I think it might be time to retire my cutters. I've been using the same ones for almost 2 years.
Which one? The big one?
The pink ones. Yeah. I changed them out halfway through. I just want them to be a little bit sharper. But I mean, for 2 years, that's a long time. Okay, last one. These in. Yes, I'm doing them the right way. Yep. So this one's like gold, cream, white, and just little touches of silver. Because some of the ribbon has just little bits of silver in it. So does the sign though too. There we go. Okay. Now for the other one, we are using, it's kind of called a birch bark. It's kind of a white with a patterned, so it almost looks like bark, but it's in gold and silver. But on the other side, it's a solid gold. So you could use it either way. It's a double-sided ribbon. Again, cut to 18-inch pieces. This ribbon is from Fifth Street Studios as well. It's one of my favorites. It's extraordinarily thick. And we are doing what's called a half bow. So kind of did that one too quick. Let me show you with the next one, how to do those. It's just a single loop. It's kind of like a 3D awareness bow. Let me get this one, and then I'll show you how to do that. Similar, which you don't need two, just one loop. So, same theory, bring your tails together, go up about 2 inches from the top, pinch in, and then this part that you have pinched is going to go straight in your pipe cleaner. You're going to go ahead and secure that on just like you were doing your double bows. Give it quite a few twists. Snip off the untwisted ends. Let me show you. You're going to take your pipe cleaner. You're going to wrap it around the back part. Then you are going to open up your ribbon. And there you have a 3D awareness ribbon. We call them half bows. So these are going around on the ribbon that has the names of God on it, I guess. It says like Shepherd, Savior, Prince of Peace.
Rita said, I didn't know you had a monthly wreath club.
Yes, I do.
Rita Stewart, she's been on with us for quite a while.
Yeah, I do. And it's funny because I don't advertise for it. Because at the very beginning when we came up with the idea, it was, we were doing, I guess, like a themed box, and then you would just order the box, and the box was whatever theme we had going that month. Like November is technically going to be, I think it's either, I think it's Valentine's Day is the November box, and then the December box is Mardi Gras. So we just found it was so much easier just to give you the item numbers, tell you where to go, have you order it. Some people wanted to add their own personal touches to it, so we would just give you the base supplies. Like I would give you all the supplies. Like if we were creating this one, here's where you buy a sign, here's where you buy all your ribbon, and we try to keep it all in the same spot if possible. But now with the supplies being hard to corral all in one location, it's just easier to do it this way. And then as soon as you order it, we try to give it to you to where you're ordering it 2 months in advance. So like the people who ordered Valentine's Day and Mardi Gras, they have all their supplies for both those months. And then that way it helps them qualify for free shipping. And they get it in like 3 to 5 days. And some people just go to town. They take all the design things and they just go off on their own and create it, which is fine. Other people that want to do it, you know, work with a group. It's like an online live tutorial like this, but much slower. But if you guys are interested in that, it's $10 a month. And you can email me at KatsCreations777@gmail.com and just say, hey, I'm interested in the Wreath of the Month group. And I'll send you the link to sign up. Because it doesn't exist anywhere. It's kind of hidden. There we go. Okay. And we meet the last Saturday of every month, providing that it's not a holiday weekend. Like Thanksgiving, obviously, is the last Saturday of the month. So we're working with all the members and just pushing it out. We're doing it the first weekend in December now. Just because people are going to be busy during Thanksgiving. Okay, last one. Then we'll make our bow. And then add our sign, add a couple embellishments, and then we'll be done. So depending on whichever way you like that bow to go, you could put it on the gold side, or you could put it on the birch bark side. It's up to you. Okay, so I'm gonna send
her email is
KatsCreations777@gmail.com. Okay, so all the ribbons. So again, Hobby Lobby in the S box. This one isn't in any box at Hobby Lobby. It's just by itself. But sometimes you might find it paired with the ribbon in the S box because it's color coordinated. Here's our gold lame. Here's our birch, which is from Fifth Street Studios, along with the Swiss dot. No, that was Craft Outlet. The gold lame was from Fifth Street Studios. And then we're gonna do a snowflake. And this one is silver, gold, and rose gold all together. For our bow, we are gonna start with the thicker ribbon. So I'm going to walk you through how to do this. First of all, you're going to dovetail your end, which just means bring your wired edges together. And you're going to always cut from the folded side to the wired point. This is our destination point. I have people who try to cut this way, and it's like, but the destination point isn't the wired edge, and they're cutting way down here on the fold. If you do that, you get a point, like a point, an arrow point. So going from the folded edge to the wired end will give you the dovetail look. That's like a really nice finished ribbon. So we're gonna do these at 10 inches. So we measure from here, 10 inches in, we're gonna pinch. I'm using my bow dabra, and you're just going to twist your ribbon. So we're going from right side fabric, putting the twist part in our bow dabra, and then we have wrong side fabric here, but when we bring it up and over and do another twist, drop the twist back in, we want to measure our loop size and make sure it's no larger than 5.5 inches. To do that, you take this little groove, keep it on your 10 on your cutting mat, and then you can see how far out this is. This is actually 6.5 inches. So we're gonna pull that in a little bit right here to 5.5. And then we're gonna do the same on the other side. Always making sure to keep your measurements as concise as you can, because it helps you build a really good bow that way. So there's that one. And then we're back out 10 inches. We'll dovetail this one. And that one's done. Put our pins back in. And then we're gonna grab the other one. So this one all has words, and they're written horizontally. So a lot of times what people will do in order to keep the words going in the same direction, like watch, when you dovetail your end, the minute you do your first twist, the words are upside down. It's like the minute it goes into its twist, there's that. So if I studio it this way, we're gonna go 9.5 inches for our tail length. So here it's right side facing me. If I twist it, and if I was to bring it back around like this, now the words on the ribbon are upside down. That's not good. We need to fix that. Most people generally will just take it and cut it and kind of splice the ribbon together, which is kind of, it works, but if you were to ever go and fluff and pull your ribbon, you might pull one of the tails out inadvertently. So simple solution. We have our ribbon measured at 9.5 inches. Got our pinch in there. So I'm going to just transfer what's in my right hand to my left, and then I'm going to move it back to the 0 part on our cutting mat. Now I know my loop size needs to be 10 inches wide, and so I'm going, 5 inches. So we're going to go 10 inches because 5 and 5 is 10. So right at the 10, I'm going to gather, and I'm just going to transfer what's in my right hand to my left. Just transfer it, and then pull it back out. Go back to the start line. We're going to go 10 inches again, pinch. We're going to transfer until the tail is getting down to the wire on this ribbon. And then we're going to go to our 9.5 inch mark, and we're going to cut that. Now it's a little hard to hold this and put your dovetail in, so this is where you slide it into your bow dabra. Go ahead and do your dovetail edge.
Anna, thank you for the 100 stars.
Thank you, Anna. So if you look now, my ribbon is all going, all the words are in the exact same direction. They're all facing the same direction, which is what people like to see on their bows. So that's your tip on how to keep it all going in the same direction. Okay, now let's mix these, because we'll stack them and see how they need to go through. I know I want the snowflake on the outside. Sometimes I'm just kind of picky about how they go. I think I'll do it this way. Okay, so we're gonna do Swiss dot, then the gold birch bark, and then we'll finish with the snowflake. So this, we are going to dovetail, just like so. This one's gonna be 9 inches long. So twist, and then you're going to measure out 4.5 inches on your loop size, right there. Bring it in, there we go, and then back out to 9. Here's our dovetail again. If you just get into the habit of building them the same, like going through the process, dovetailing when you get to the dovetail part, putting your pins away when you finish with the ribbon, you just get into a really nice habit that your body just kind of goes on autopilot. So you know like what each step comes next looks like. Okay, this one's 8.5 inches for the ribbon length. And then we're going to do the same. We're going to do 4.5 inches for this loop. So because we already have the bottom one here at 4.5, all I have to do is put my fingers in the loops and pull so that the top one is the same length. Because remember, we've already measured it. Here, and then we just need to make sure our tail length is at 8.5. Dovetail, take these, and now we're on to our birch bark.
Any other questions?
So our birch bark is going to be cut at 8 inches. In, twist. This is going to be a 4-inch loop. Nice. 4 inches. And then another 4. And then our tail. There we go. And then back out to 8 inches. So if you guys haven't joined my email list, this weekend I'm sending out the top 10 wreath maker supplies. So if you ever wanted to know what are probably like the best 10 supplies a beginning wreath maker should have, I am including that. That's going out in the newsletter, which is a great thing to print and or forward to anyone who's looking to give you some great gift ideas, because all the products are linked so they can just shop directly off of Amazon. That was weird. I think I went through the, it was like there was resistance where resistance shouldn't have been. So this one's going to be 7.5 inches with 3.5 inch loops. Because I'm always asked, where do you get your staple gun? Where do you get your glue skillet? Where do you get your metal hole punch? They're all just like, if you could only get these top 10 products, you'd be pretty well set. So it's a list I think I would have given Steve when I started and said, these would be great gifts.
We said, how can I get on the newsletter distribution list?
Just go to my website, and at the very bottom, it says sign up here for newsletter, and you can get the newsletter. It also gives you first dibs on all the deals. Like if I offer kits or supplies, I let the Wreath group or the newsletter people know before the general public does. Wow, that's way too long of a pin. It just does not want to go through that ribbon. Even the shorter ones. This is really stiff ribbon.
And the link to the website is down below.
Yeah, KatsCreationsNMore.com.
Yep.
Okay. So, pipe cleaner. You're going to take it and just do the prep part first. So just bend it in a U shape. And then just pick this up, both sides. So you're kind of squeezing the ribbon on both sides with your hand. I would say it's like a triple decker club sandwich. Then you're just going to move your fingers so that you create a hole for a pipe cleaner to drop right down inside, and then you twist your bundle. Hold the pipe cleaner, twist the bundle. It's so much easier on if you have hand issues, arthritis. It just makes things much easier for you to do. And we're going to fluff this bow. So I've converted an 18 by 24 inch by 3/4 inch cutting board into my fluff board. So I prefer fluffing on flat, low items. Cutting board works perfect with a C-hook in it because your ribbon doesn't slide all over the place. But if you don't have anyone who can cut it down and you don't want to spend the money for the cutting board, go to your local home improvement stores. In their lumber section, they generally have a 24 by 24 by 1 inch thick piece of wood already pre-cut. Pick that up, go get an 1.5 to 2 inch C-hook, and then you're good. I've had so many people tell me this has forever changed how they make the bows. And then you're going to take your little C-hook and you're going to run your C-hook through there, and then it will shift from left to right, but it's not going to move off the cutting board. So now we're going to separate. So first step in fluffing your bow, which is just starting at the bottom. You're going to move one loop and one tail in opposite directions. So in this case, the loop goes to the left, the tail goes to the right. Go over to the other side, go opposite. So in this case, the tail is going to go to the left and the loop will go to the right. If you were to look down from the top, it's loops across, tails across. And then you're going to go and do the next step. So you're going to grab your next ribbon. You're going to do, we did loop here. You're going to do loop this side and tail the opposite, just like that. Other side, complete opposite. We're bringing the tail out and the loop over. So now every color that you bring down is going to alternate colors between the loops and the tails. I haven't started fluffing yet, I'm just separating. So this, we're going loop to the left, tail to the right, go to the other side, tail to the left, loop to the right. Here, we're doing, let's get you to cooperate, loop to the right, tail to the left. It's over here. And then opposite, we're doing tail to the right, loop to the left. And you're just going to keep doing that. Bring it down. One goes one way, the other goes the opposite way. If you get confused by the time you get to the other side, just look at what you have going here and go opposite. Match your loops up and then match your tails up. So the same one should go opposite. And then the last one here and here. Now, everything, I always do this because people go, you were fluffing as you were going. No, flat, okay? So now we're gonna fluff from the top up. You're gonna open your loop here. It's wire ribbon, it'll hold its shape. You're gonna go through and grab your next one and your next one and the next one down. And you can kind of pull them in whatever direction you'd like them to go. You know, if you want your Swiss dot showing up someplace else, just move it wherever you want. You're the designer, you decide. I usually try to keep all my tails to one end, like to the sides. Let's see, we need this one. So we'll bring our tail over, open this one up. Keep them nice and straight, pull them out so they're not crinkly. That's a word. And then open the bottom ones up as well. So these are really nice. And then put those wherever you want. And then this is where you can make some last minute changes. If you want tails mixed in, you know, some people prefer to have their tails mixed in with their loops, that's fine. And then if you want to put your curls back in your ribbon, remember it's just our fingers like scissors. So it just puts all the curls back in. Just like so. And then it gives it that arched look. And then that's perfect for following the lines on our wreath, because that's the way our tails are going to flow. So just like that. Get these guys all situated. Okay. There's your bow. And then we're just going to pop that off the exact same way it went on. There we go. That's all done. Grab our wreath. Bring this back over. Let's go ahead and punch holes in our sign. I know they're going to go on opposite ends. So this is where I'm going to get my beadsmith. These are 1.5 millimeter hole punch pliers. So they pop holes in your sign the same way a hole punch would work on paper. So it just goes right through the sign. Super nice. And then I'm going to use 22 gauge floral wire to attach my sign. So there's one. Let's see. I'm always asked, how long do you cut your wire? So this is 19 inches. Because you know I'm going to go up and down. Fold it in half.
You're doing such beautiful bows, they never disappoint.
Aw, thanks, Rita. I love making them. That'll go to replay status as soon as I'm finished. So I'm going to flip my sign over. I'm going to attach my wire first from the front. So I'm going to bring my wire up and make sure we've got it pretty well centered. This makes it much easier. And I'm going to build this from the back, which means I twist my wire to the back. I'm not doing it off to the side, but the back, and that'll cause my sign to lay flat. And then I'll trim off whatever we don't need. I'm pretty generous on my wire. Okay, we're gonna flip this over. So now on our sign, if you notice, the Silent Night is off to the right, so we have quite a bit that our bow can sit on. It can kind of slightly cover this, the star. The star's not complete, so it's kind of a good look. We are going to place this right where our pipe cleaners, the ones in the middle, the ones we cut off, we're going to use those because I know those sit right over my frame. So I'm going to place one on one side. You just always have to make sure you get a wire on the edge. So I'm going to push this down just a bit to help me gauge where it needs to be. Are you flipping it down?
Yeah, let's see.
Okay. I'm going to flip this over. Here is my other pipe cleaner. Okay, there's one. Ooh. The reason why I prefer using the floral wire, especially the 22 gauge, is it's so thick that it helps me go right through all the mesh. So I'm going to pull it fairly snug right here. And then we're going to fix all that flat deco mesh. So the ones that are on the outside, the pieces to the outside, we're going to gently pull those back out. And we're going to lightly frame our sign. Because right now, if you look at it, you have a very hard line. You can obviously identify exactly where the sign went. So by doing this, we're going to feather the edge. And it'll still have plenty of mesh underneath to support it, because those 6 pieces in the center are what's giving it its look. Okay, taking my clue from this, pulling out just the ones I need. It's so weird how it always gets jumbled underneath. I'm gonna grab this one. There we go. It's getting there. Grab this one. And there we go. Finds a nice little home. And then this one I don't need to worry about so much because our bow is going to be nesting in the vacant spot right here in the upper right. So I'm just going to feather that edge for you. And then I'll fluff out my bow. The ones I kind of mashed in the process. And then I need to make sure that the words that I tried so hard to make sure stayed straight are facing in the right direction. So like here, and this is going to sit right over my little baby star. But this one will take me a little bit because we've got to go all the way down with a pipe cleaner, which is always challenging through multiple layers of mesh. But we want to make sure we're hitting the frame. Okay.
This is so beautiful.
Always hung
Give
up
it lots of likes and loves.
one little piece. I always say that, always gets stuck on one little piece of mesh. Okay, we'll twist this. Finish fluffing.
There you go.
Want to make sure we're not hiding our sign. Okay. Out, out. Oh, sorry, Steve.
Ravina said this will sell fast. Thank you, Ravina.
We hope.
I just said love it.
Right?
Love it.
We always hope. So here's what it looks like thus far before we add a couple of embellishments to this wreath. So that is our wreath with our sign. just make sure that you go around and give it some love on your bows. Before you take your pictures, always make sure that your ribbon tails are like precise. They're not bent, they're not curled. Your loops are all open, like you don't have little curly cues here on your ends. Everything is going in the right direction, just like that. There we go. Okay, so now I have a couple of embellishments. I have these poinsettias that I bought for, remember I did the Victorian Christmas wreath? Let's see. I'm going to need heavy duty cutters.
And this wreath is already on her website for sale. You'll see the sign, Silent Night.
So we're gonna open these up. Let's take some of that. Love these pliers.
Thank you for sharing, Sandra.
I'm gonna take and fold. So this will slide down and around. Hang on.
This is gorgeous. It's a very classic wreath.
Yes. Trying to get it to sit where I want it to go.
It's beautiful.
Don't want it to impact my sign. Oop. There we go. Let's see. If I do that, it's going to have to come off the side a bit. So let me look at this one. How can we do this one? Because I don't. Ooh, that's nice. Hold on a sec. I'm all about feathering my leaves. Okay. What do you guys think of that? Thumbs up, you like it?
Yeah, they would give a lot of thumbs up and loves and likes.
With the poinsettia?
Yeah, they're so good.
Okay. So that's just, I mean, it's kind of like a gold and a silver. Still fluffing my bow. And I have my glue gun on, so if we decide, yes, that's a go, we will add that to the design.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to add these. So
You're being asked how much is this one?
this one's $85. So I'm trying to keep the prices down from where I have been trending, especially this week. Need a glue stick. Let's hope they're in here. I need a glue stick. We've been doing all of our outside decor, so sometimes you have ornaments that are less willing to stay when you twist them onto your garland. So you have to glue the tops on your ornaments so that when you twist them with wire, thanks Steve, they won't come off. So my glue gun has seen a lot of use.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll just make sure. Let's make sure we got it in here. There we go. It's flowing again. So I use silicone little mats like this because it allows you to just scoop up all your glue. I'm going to tuck this under my sign. And it's going to situate right on my Deco mesh.
Wow, it's gorgeous with the white and golds.
Right, because I never used them when I was doing that custom order, because it was already over the top as it was. So these are from Hobby Lobby. If your Hobby Lobby still has stuff. Ours looks like a clearance store right now. There is hardly anything in our Hobby Lobby, which is really sad.
Maybe that's funny. She said, have you tried a cordless glue gun?
I have not. And I have one.
Yeah.
But I have not used it.
We haven't even pulled it out of the box.
I have not used it. Because I'm like in love with my Gorilla Glue glue gun. because it's like, I tried the Surebonder one, but the one defect I noticed is when your glue's just sitting there staying hot, it kind of oozes out of the front, which, you know, we don't want to be oozing our supplies out the front. So we are all situated. Those guys will set it inside. But what do you guys think? I had some beads, but I'm not 100% sure if I wanted to add gold and silver beads. You could put them on the outside. Let me show what they would look like. They're all individual. So normally I'm used to them being in a long strand. Let's see. I'm not sure I want to use these. What do you guys think? Should I use the beads? Should I not use the beads? What do you think, Steve? You're usually my biggest critic.
It's hard to see.
Oh, let me spin it around. Ta-da! I mean, they're not going to go in a big blob like this, but just this color on here. What do you guys think?
It's hard to tell. I'll leave it up to the...
Let me take a couple of them off.
Oh, Audrey said no beads. Debbie said no beads.
Okay. I'm pulling them apart anyway. So if I was to do them, they would be in little trios. So let me show you. Maybe that whole cluster is just like a little too much. So these would kind of go.
Debbie Camacho said beads. Rita said yes.
Okay, look. They would go in like this. So just like little trios.
Yeah, I think I like that better. That's pretty.
You like it? Yeah, because that's why I was like, let me show you what it'll look like. Not like the big cluster. And again, Hobby Lobby for the win on that one.
Yeah, I think the cluster, like you said, would have been too much.
Oh yeah, I would have never done the cluster.
Yeah.
That's just way too crazy. So you just unbunch them from the bunch. And then these are just going to go in that single half bow. We're just going to place those right on the inside.
How you said, looks great. Did it look like this, just like in your dream?
I didn't have the poinsettias in there. I had the ribbon, but I didn't have the beads. I was like, I think I have some embellishments that'll go with that. I'm just not sure what they look like. I thought I had like little packets of like presents and a gold leaf bundle.
I just love the way this came together, but then you never seem to amaze me. You're always trying to
amaze myself.
She said, this is what you were made for. Thank you again for your many time and talents.
You're so welcome. Thank you for joining me and being a faithful watcher.
Yeah, she has.
So sometimes I'm just doing 2 gold and 1 silver. And you just get them and start twisting them into a pile. And then once they're in their bundle, cut them down, put glue on the end, and then these are going in the bundles. I think that's good. I think it's a little, like, it's not overdone, but it's just enough, if that makes sense. And I'll have to wait till tomorrow to do photos. So if you were catching this live and you're purchasing it, like Steve says, you're just buying it off of the sign. But this is what the finished product looks like. It's just hard to do pictures at 6 here, which is really dark already. So another bundle. Tuck right in. They're just like perfect little triads. Probably tuck one of those up in the bow as well. So we'll do 2 gold, 1 silver. This is one of those, Kat doesn't find a bundle she wants, She just makes one anyway. So I do that quite a bit. We'll go ahead and nestle that right inside our bow for a nice little added touch. And then we have one right underneath here. So one more. I know, no one's gonna look under the bow. I look under the bow. I know. Okay.
You start gluing
Hmm?
in. You start gluing in.
Oh, I already have.
What did you?
Yeah, I've been gluing them in as I go.
I didn't see you glue the 3 in the bow.
Where have you been? Yep, I've glued every single one in that I have made. Yes, indeedy. I don't know where he's at. He's reading questions, though. That's where you've been. Okay, let's put this up on the door so we can see what it looks like. These flyers, by the way, are called Muzata, M-U-Z-A-T-A. Great.
Cutters.
Cutters. If you have no hand strength at all, those are like gold. Okay. This is what it looks like. Sure. Nope, haven't hit the wreath on the door. So, pictures, right? Things like these matter. I know it might not seem like it, but just take the time in all your photos and make sure your ribbons are nice and straight. Your bows are all open. Everything is wide open. You have no glue threads anywhere. Everything.
That's a good question. Ryan said, do you have a third poinsettia? The 2 poinsettias go that kind of make that triangle, right, with the bow.
Yes, and that's exactly what they're supposed to. So in floral words, everything is like odd numbers in triangles. So these 2 poinsettias plus the bow makes your floral triangle.
Not all the time, but most of the time.
Some of the time. Let's kind of pull that one back a bit.
Amy said she has a hard time finding signs for her wreaths.
Trying to get that to where we can kind of see it a little bit more.
Davey asked what brand were the cutters again?
Muzata.
Muzata?
M-U-Z-A-T-A. They're like, I know they're on the pricey side, but so worth it. Because like for me, I can only go through so much thick wire before it's like, hey, Steve, I need you to cut something for me because I can't grip it. And those ones will work perfectly for all of us. There you guys go. What do you think? So these are always for your photos. Fluffing. Making sure everything is straight. Because you put all that ribbon in, you want to make sure you can see it all. But there you guys go. It's all set. It's all done. Any questions you guys have? Otherwise, I will see you on Sunday at 6 right here. 6 Pacific, 8 Central, and 9 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to work on another metallic wreath. So something either gold, silver, gold and silver, or rose gold. Yeah, something involving metals. So this is our metal weekend. So with that, have a great weekend. And thank you guys for taking the time to join me tonight. Bye, everyone.